Good evening, guys, and happy Wednesday to all of your sunshiny faces. Got another dog back there that, see guys, he's gonna go underneath the blanket again. Oh, nope, he got out before he got stuck. Did you almost get stuck under the blankets again today? Huh? That almost happened for a second time in 2 days in a row. He's like, what are you talking about? Did you almost get stuck under the blankets? He's like, I'm going to bed. I'm not gonna take this from you anymore. Anyways, guys, I woke up ridiculously late today. I'm trying to go to bed earlier tonight, but I woke up super late today. I actually still got more stuff done today, I think, than I did yesterday, which is kind of amazing. I ended up, actually, I edited 3 vlogs because I had one that was edited but it wasn't uploaded, so I can upload 4 tomorrow, and it'll be like over the next 2 days that will be uploaded. The other thing I really need to make sure I do tomorrow is make my grocery list. I had started doing Walmart, which we go on Saturdays to Walmart, so that's not that big of a deal. I can always do that like on Friday or, you know, like tomorrow too, but I had started working on that. What I need to do is my actual grocery list for Valley Produce, Caputo's, Aldi. Well, Aldi we go to on Saturday too, but normally I do those 4 stores at the same time. I make the list for them even though we don't go to them all at the same time. You know, we just go to the 3 on Friday nights. But I saw, the thing is that I need to get myself a little organized. This was sort of in my forefront, was that I saw Jewel had boneless skinless chicken breast was on sale for 99 cents a pound. First off, that's an awesome price. And I went out actually in the freezer today, which I'll be honest guys, I have not actually been out there in a while. Like when we've done freezer dinners, my dad has been basically bringing the freezer dinners in and it's just been like, oh, you know, here, make this for dinner or whatever. Just because I was like, just switch it up. You know where some of the stuff is, because my dad has been moving stuff around and not organizing it, but just sort of like moving things around, like when we come back from the grocery store or whatever, and if I'm like, okay, there's stuff that won't fit in the inside freezer, like pizzas, frozen pizzas or whatever, I'm like, okay, these need to go outside, and the outside, you know, our chest freezer, so I'll tell him just take them out there. That's one thing that we have that's kind of a big bulky thing, like on the top, and it has to sort of like lay flat and everything, and it's taken up sort of a little bit of space in there. But other than that, I was like, we actually do have not a lot of room, but a little bit of room in the freezer so that I could actually do some freezer dinners, and do some more making of freezer dinners. So my dad has, like I said, been bringing in like freezer dinners. Like, you know, he goes out and works out in the afternoon out in the garage, and then he'll come inside and bring in a freezer dinner and then throw it in the fridge so it's somewhat thawed out and defrosted, and then I'll throw it in the crock pot in the morning. But he brought in a beef stew for dinner for tonight, but he brought it in yesterday like night, and then when I woke up still late this morning, I was like, there's no way this is not going to be done by that time, because normally the beef takes a while to cook and it wasn't still completely thawed out. So while it's normally okay if I can throw it in early enough in the morning, the fact that again it still was somewhat frozen and I woke up pretty late, and wouldn't have gotten it in there until like afternoon anyway, it wouldn't have been done pretty much by the time that would have had dinner. So I ended up going to the freezer outside today to check and found something else out there, and then came inside and, like I said, made something else for dinner tonight, which was a like the chicken stuffing casserole stuff, and so I did that for dinner tonight because the chicken cooks faster anyway, so I just did like a quick defrost with that. But you know, and on top of that too, because like it's snowing outside right now, since my dad's going outside already out to the garage, you know, to go and work out, I'm like, how about you just bring in something for dinner, you know? Like I said too, since he sort of arranged the stuff and kind of knows like, oh, I moved that thing over here or this over there or whatever, you know, and he can, you know, pull some of the stuff out that maybe is further down, because I'm really bad about that. I will sometimes just be like, oh, it's too cold, I'm just gonna grab the first thing that's on top, and normally that tends to be the newer stuff, right? The stuff that I just made goes on the top, and then all the older stuff's on the bottom, and I don't rotate it really well, especially again if it's early in the morning, I haven't had my coffee yet, I'm freezing cold, I just want to go out to the freezer, grab the first thing I see and come inside and then make that for dinner. So I'll have a little bit of a, you know, thought beforehand to be like, oh, maybe I should do this, or oh, I know we have that out in the freezer, or oh, we have hamburger buns, I'll do sloppy joes, or you know, like barbecue chicken or something like that, you know, that goes on hamburger buns, because I don't want those to go bad. So again, sometimes I will think like, oh, we should do that day, or you know, one day this week or whatever, but normally I don't have like a game plan. I'm just like, whatever I pull out of the freezer is what we're gonna have. That might work a little bit better, but like I said, at the same time too, it's not that bad that again my dad brings the stuff inside. And then today too, on a day where I have to switch it up, I can just make the beef stew for dinner tomorrow, and like I said, made that, you know, the chicken stuffing casserole for dinner tonight. So yeah, but like I said, while I was out there today, I saw we did have some room, and I was like, I've got a lot of stuff in the pantry that I've been saving and waiting for meat to go on sale for some of the stuff, and I was like, as soon as it goes on sale, I'm gonna get some, you know, like I said, some meat to do some of these freezer dinners with. So I have a couple of different recipes. I can do some salsa chicken, I can do some there's a different like I have some of those, I think they're like Swanson starters or something like that. It's like you add it to like a slow cooker, or you can do it I think in the oven too, but you just add the meat and like a couple other ingredients along with their like saucy sort of stuff to it that has like all the seasonings and whatnot in there. And I did a chicken pot pie recipe similar to that before, but with this one, like I was saying, it's something different. It's like a Mexican like casserole thing or something like that. And so like I said, that was what I was thinking of doing with some of those, the chicken breast, that, and then again I have some other recipes too, but just stuff that's in the pantry right now that I'm like, I can use this up, turn it into freezer dinners with super cheap chicken breast, and then, you know, again, we have room. So I haven't actually, like I said, been out to that freezer in a little while, so that's why I kept thinking we like did not have any room, and my dad kept being like, we don't have any room, but what I realized was it was really more because of pizzas. Like we have room to shove like some freezer dinner stuff, but really not any more room for like big boxy, you know, stuff and all that kind of thing. So the inside freezer is what's really bad, but again, the outside freezer we're actually kind of, you know, like I said, using up some of that stuff, which is good. I think that honestly though, there's still a bag of ice in the freezer from the 4th of July, and I think it got buried in the freezer like deep down, and again we put stuff on top of it, and now it's super far in that freezer, and I'm sure that there's a big like 5-pound bag, or we might have used half of it for 4th of July, but there's like a big bag of ice that I think has still not been used. Obviously we don't need it, like we can just get rid of it now. We don't want to use it either, but I think it's just buried in there somewhere, so there's a big bag of ice that's just taking up space, I think, in that freezer, and we can just do to get rid of it. And so that was, like I said, it stinks that I think that might have been one of the things that was actually taking up a lot of space in there that I think nobody realized that has been in there since July. So yeah, that was, like I said, one of the things that was, I guess, a good thing, but I was pre-reading those grocery ads, so I had an idea again, and so I think this week's gonna be a big freezer cooking sort of week, at least with the chicken breast. I don't know what other stores have stuff on sale. Caputo seems like they've had a couple sales on some pretty good stuff recently, so that would be good. I think maybe even Valley Produce had some what's it called, their pork chops on sale too, which I have a couple different, again, pork chop recipes that I can do as well. I am sort of thinking that because of that, this week is going to be a freezer cooking, freezer, you know, oriented sort of grocery haul and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, like I said, I haven't checked Caputo's yet because I don't get their physical ad anymore for some reason. They stopped sending it. Maybe it's just to our area, or maybe they just stopped sending out physical ads altogether. But I have to check their digital ad online, and then I can, like I said, kind of see what's on sale that they have, because they might also have some really good meat sales, in which case we can definitely stock up and use some of the meat stuff. And again, I also got those Sloppy Joe, those cans of Sloppy Joe last week at Caputo, so I have like 4 cans of those. I can, if ground beef is on sale too somewhere, either this week or next week, you know, I can do some of those too. But I kind of want to start switching it up from just being real basic dinners, I guess, you know, and into sort of some other stuff going on. And like I said, expand my recipes a little bit more, just because I feel like we have sometimes a lot of the same recipes, it feels like, or we do a lot of the same things too. But like, I haven't noticed recently, we haven't really done any like pasta chicken or like pasta sauce with ground beef in it. My mom has done some, but I have some pasta sauce that I normally turn into those type of freezer dinners too that I can use. And so again, that's something that like I haven't seen out in the freezer. I thought we had some of them, but that's another big thing that I gotta do, guys, is get a inventory of the stuff that we actually do have out there and be like, okay, we can use this, you know, this is something that we have, we can use this up, you know, we should have 3 of these still out in the freezer or whatever. Because again, we have a chest freezer that's a deep chest freezer, and it's not a stand-up one either. I would love, honestly guys, I'd really love to have one of those instead, because I feel like it's easier to see things. But this, again, like I was saying, sometimes you can put stuff on top then, and then everything else gets buried underneath there, and then it's like, I didn't, you know, like use that up, or, you know, we had that in there again. I think there was a half a bag of ice that was what was taking up a lot of our freezer space, which I still don't even know if it's out of there. I just know that we have been using up some of our freezer dinners. So yeah, I need to, like I said, you know, get on that tomorrow. But it has been a while. We have been pretty much, like I said, living out of our freezer stockpile of freezer dinners specifically, and I haven't had to make any for probably a good maybe 2 months almost now. And I only cook 4 days out of the week. My mom cooks really the other 3 days, but I haven't had to buy any meat really for her, other than like, I think twice maybe she's done like beef stew, in which case we needed like beef. I didn't have beef on hand for her, but chicken breast and ground beef I always have like close to like 5 to 10 pounds almost of each, just for her. So when she's like, oh, I want to make, you know, chili for dinner or something like that, we have the meat already. All we need is, again, maybe some cans of, you know, chili beans, or, you know, whatever type of bean we're using, chili seasoning, which we can make from homemade too. You know, like I said, there's just like some of those sometimes like staple things. So like ground beef and chicken breast are like those 2 things that like we always have extra of. Like if I ever get a good sale on that sometimes too, and I don't really have any plans for freezer dinners, I just get the extra stuff and freeze it for her to use. So like I said, we haven't had to do any new freezer dinners really over the last, like I said, maybe about 2 months. But that doesn't mean that it has just been 2 months. We have, you know, had nothing but freezer dinners. We've done pizzas, frozen pizzas, you know, chicken Kiev, what was it, like chicken patties too, and again, sometimes just some other stuff that isn't necessarily like a homemade freezer dinner, but it's, you know, like I said, stuff that we sort of have on hand or whatever. And then the other thing too is that I think honestly, like I'm gonna make the meat, what's that, beef stew tomorrow, but I really think that I want to do a like just a big leftover night, so maybe on Friday night, because we did barbecue chicken yesterday. Like I said, we did that casserole stuff for dinner tonight, which we had probably half of it was left over. Half of the chicken from the barbecue chicken was left over yesterday night, and we'll probably have some of the beef stew left over too. I think Jack doesn't like beef stew. My mom really does. My dad will, you know, normally eat it. My mom really loves beef stew. My dad will eat anything. We were literally joking the other day that he actually did, and I think I even have it in a vlog where he ate or tasted canned dog food before, but he literally will eat anything and not complain about it. The only thing he doesn't like is pineapple and melon. Weirdly enough, those are kind of the 2 things that he really won't eat. But I mean, literally, if you make any kind of like dinner thing, he will pretty much eat it. My mom and Jack are a little bit more picky, and like Matthew too in certain areas too. So it's weird. It's kind of like that weird balance, but for the most part, if it doesn't have, like I said, if it doesn't have pineapple on it, my dad will probably eat it. And even if it does have pineapple on it, it's not like he's like, oh, I won't eat this now, like ham with pineapple or something like that. He might just sort of pick the pineapple off, or maybe sort of like, you know, like I said, ignore the pineapple. But you know, I know that my dad will always eat anything, but my mom specifically really loves like I was saying, like beef stew. Jack I don't think likes, he doesn't like that in chili, I think, because of the beans. Maybe he likes beef stew. I can't remember. But regardless, like I said, we have a ton of leftovers. So if he doesn't want that for dinner tomorrow night, he can obviously, like I said, either have dinner leftovers from tonight or the stuff from yesterday too. But I was thinking too, I was like, the casserole you can't do a lot with, but with the barbecue chicken, I can do that on pizzas. We can do, there's actually a recipe where it's sort of like quesadillas, sort of. But it's like you just do like a face up tortilla and then put cheese on it, and then I think it's like it's almost sort of like a pizza without the sauce. And then you put the barbecue chicken over the top and throw it in the oven for just a little while. You can do that. Like I said, you could probably just throw, like, I could tell him he really likes quesadillas too. Ever since I've been into them, he's been into them sort of too. And so like I've really, for some reason, like quesadillas have been my go-to like lunch dinner sometimes for like the last year and a half maybe now. And Jack has also really liked quesadillas. I told you guys he had started like his foods class, and even though quesadillas aren't necessarily like, oh, a cooking class sort of thing, but you know, he's learned how to use the oven more and the stove and all that kind of stuff. And so a quesadilla is, again, an easy little, you know, sort of lunch that you can make for yourself. But he normally uses like canned chicken. He will add sometimes to his, I think I told you guys that story too. He used tuna on accident and didn't realize he was eating tuna. But normally my mom sometimes gets canned tuna, or not canned tuna, canned chicken, and Jack sometimes adds it like to his quesadilla. But I was thinking about that. I was like, he could probably just add it to his quesadilla, the barbecue chicken, and maybe he'll like that. I don't know. I can make that a suggestion too. So like I said, I was thinking maybe even on Friday nights, but the only problem is it's tough because I go to grocery stores on Friday night. So I don't know how much time I'm gonna have, but regardless though, yeah, like I said, I need to think to like have an idea like, oh, we have leftovers of XYZ thing, like what can we do? Normally the weird thing is that pasta, like pasta sauce or whatever with, you know, meat sauce or pasta with chicken or whatever, pasta gets eaten up so fast in our house. Leftover pastas like are gone like immediately, the next day normally. But like if it's any other kind of like leftovers, normally it's like an incentive, like I have to push people to get them to eat it. But pasta, for some reason, is just that weird thing, like everybody will eat it as leftovers. But anything else, I have to get creative with it or be like, do you want me to heat this up for you? If not, they never seem like they take the initiative to do it themselves. I don't know why, but only with pasta does that happen, and sometimes leftover pizza too. But those are the only two things. Everything else leftover wise, I always have to be like, do you want me to heat that up for you? Or, you know, like, you know, or like I said, find some other creative way to turn it into something sort of else for dinner. So I don't know, but anyways guys, I'll let you know, you know, sort of our updates, I guess, with leftovers and freezer dinners too for this, you know, upcoming grocery session this week. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy today's vlog, make sure you guys give it a little thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.